I think maybe even Dirty Jersey Rat. Dirty Jersey. Yay! I love that
All
song.
right, so let's just jump into it. Is Shuli ruining the Dabbleverse, Lucy? Because he ran our.
And why is the answer yes?
Stuttering. Yeah. Why is Shuli ruining the Dabbleverse? He ran off our boy Stuttering John. Now we don't have him for fun anymore.
Okay, so I don't know that that's exactly accurate. Shuli obviously has a lot of fans, and that's great. I don't always get it. I think that Shuli does a lot of amazing things. I don't think that he ran off Stuttering John. How do you think that he ran off Stuttering John?
Yeah, dude, explain it.
The little lawsuits and stuff. Like, what's the lawsuit stuff? Maybe the doxing, the messing with him a little bit too much for a couple years. It has run him off because he got sick of the abuse.
All right, so at some point, though, do you have to stand up for yourself? I'm not remove Shuli and John from that equation. If somebody is fucking with you so bad and they're fucking with tons and tons and tons of shit that you're doing, you can't be the little pussy bitch on the playground that goes and tattles to the teacher. You have to actually do something and take an action, right? So I guess the way that I kind of see it is that Shuli got fucked with a fuck ton. And I mean, there are many, many different ways that we can frame that story. Perhaps Shuli started it, perhaps John started it, whatever the fuck, doesn't matter. At some point, you got to then stand up for yourself. And so I see Shuli's lawsuit as him standing up for himself. And again, removing Shuli and John from that whole equation, I think his lawsuit is correct. I think that we should all be able to say what we want to say on YouTube and not have the threat of being struck because the DMCA system is shitty. So I like what he's standing up for. Would I have filed a lawsuit? Probably not, but I like what he's standing up for, and I'm glad that he's not being a little pussy bitch on a playground.
Okay, well, in the same way, would you say that about Stuttering John? He considered himself being picked on in the same way. Well, he stood up and did something. He filed a lawsuit himself.
So I totally agree that it is important to stand up for what you believe in, and I do believe that John is stupid enough to believe that he is in the right. Okay. My issue here, and then so then obviously then it becomes an opinion thing. So I don't believe that John is in the right. I don't believe that he has a right of publicity claim against Carl and Shuli. I don't believe that. I don't believe legally he has any claim.
Butt washer.
If he believes that, then he did the right thing filing the lawsuit. And I support his decision to do that. And I hate to say this, but I support our justice system in being able to make a decision about that. I don't fucking support our justice system. Our justice system fucking blows. But I am glad that it is getting put out of those hands. That being said, stop fucking lawfare. Stop with the lawsuits. But also stop with the strikes. Why can't we all just exist in a universe and we only use the striking system for the correct reasons? Why can't we all just file lawsuits when truly somebody is fucking with you really, really badly? We've all seen the shitty Judge Judy episodes where there's some dumbass lawsuit. Don't fucking file stupid lawsuits. It's dumb.
You beat me to it. That's exactly where I was going with that. It says Judge Judy, fucking Joe Brown type of shit, where they would just be standing in a television court yelling at each other. He fucking started it with me. Well, you were in the airport with me. And
Gino and Aaron Burr went to Judge whatever. And no, come on. That's all a waste of time. All of that stuff.
All this boils down to, though, really, is they could have just chilled. Either side could have chilled at any point. But I want to say Shuli at some point could have done some other material, but he just continued on with the same. Everybody else kind of goes in and out of the John thing. They kind of put all their eggs in that one basket, and I think it fucked them over.
Well, I think that that's stupidity, but I don't necessarily think that means that they should have changed.
No.
So again, I don't think that you should get bullied. So if that is where all of their eggs were to begin with, if that's what TSN was doing, then they should continue doing that. Again, maybe that's a bad business decision. I love the WATP. Right? Yeah, we will find out. I love the WATP model of talking about shitty podcasts. I mean, that's really what this all boils down to. And that's what we all love as comedy fans. That's what we all love as radio fans. That's what excites all of us, is talking about the shittiest of the shitty and laughing at it.
Yeah. I just don't like it when they talk about me. It's rude. No. Yeah. Do
you
do
talk
think
about
that-
them, and you should be able to, and
I
they
do.
should be able to.
I
And, like,
do.
and that's
I-
fun
I do
and
shit.
funny, and like it's all in good fun. We're having fun.
Well, yeah. Everyone's having fun except for Stuttering John and Carmix and Chad and who knows who else.
All the
Yeah,
people
all the
having to go to
sad boys.
court are definitely
You-
not having fun.
You literally just named the sad boys, though. You just said everybody is having fun except for John, Chad, and Carmick. That is literally,
right.
you're naming the sad boys who are the sad boys. And
Oh,
I don't like, put on your big girl panties. Calm down.
It's the
Yeah.
woe is me club. They do sit around and cry about how they don't get anywhere in life. And it's everybody
They
else's
all
fault
hate
too. That's
me.
fucking
They all pick on me. Why me? Woe is me. Do you think Shuli can survive without Stuttering John? I guess that would be a good question.
I do. I actually really like a lot of the other stuff. So people always say, and you said this just earlier, that he only does the John stuff. He's always had other little lol cows kind of like hanging in the background. He doesn't focus on it quite as much. And so if you're not watching all of TSN, you might not necessarily catch it. He has a couple of other lol cows that are really fucking hilarious that I really enjoy. And there's segments that I enjoy watching on TSN, not just when I'm on, but like that I really enjoy. So I do think he can survive without Stuttering John. I think it's just going to be a unique time period, and he's going to have to make a shift. And I mean, we all have to do that sometimes as a business model. Again,
Yes.
Quad, you don't have Stevie Lou on anymore. So
Thank God.
yeah, but like we all have to make shifts, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah,
I
I'm
think
stuck
our
with these
hard
two
replacement.
knuckleheads now. Can you believe it? My luck.
I'm adequate enough.
yeah,
I'm better. I think I'm better than Stevie a little bit.
Yeah, of course. Everybody's better than Stevie Lou. Are you kidding me?
Thank you. No, I was fishing for compliments. Thank you.
You're way better. Your bald head is so much smoother. Absolutely. Point
Be
double
in the
point
sun
today
longer,
though.
for sure.
Point double point today was like completely Stuttering John. Yeah, I thought that was kind of weird because typically it was on the Shuli network, so I thought that was kind of weird that it pretty much was entirely Stuttering John. A point double point, Stuttering John. Stuttering John's not even here. It doesn't really feel like Shuli has a second gear. It's almost like he can't kick it up out of first.
Let me defend that a little bit. The entire
ahead.
point of PDP is that it is a Stuttering John roundtable discussion. So in the same way that this little piggy is a Aaron Imholt roundtable discussion, what do you do with a roundtable discussion when somebody goes away? Do you just stop doing it?
No, not necessarily. I understand that argument. It's just weird to watch old clips of that even happened when I was on Point Double
Just
Point
got
the one
owned.
time. Like they went back and we're watching like Sarah Marshall show or whatever the hell that was, and it's like I just didn't really understand. If there isn't like updated things to talk about with Stuttering John, you think you would just change the format if you had to a little bit.
How would you suggest changing it? I'm honestly curious about that because
Well,
I agree
I'm
with
just
you. I
saying,
think that
like,
there are
you would have
potentially
to move
issues.
on necessarily. Honestly,
Well, see,
that's
the
how I
point
see
I would
it,
make-
is moving
the
on.
point I would make is this little piggy, like that slowed down significantly because Aaron just became boring. He didn't even leave the internet. He's still here. He's just not worth talking about. In John's case, there is a lot to dig into in the past, but at some point you might want to go like every other week or not as often as you could, and slowly start to phase it out. Because everybody here knows if there's an audience, abrupt change in audience will flip. They'll be like, I'm done with this, and they'll just move on to another thing.
Yeah, I could see that point absolutely. And I just want to also point out Aaron is the most fucking boring person in the world. Like I want to say that I enjoy watching this little piggy even when there are bombshells. I'm so fucking bored with Aaron. I do not care at all.
He
Like,
is so
Yeah,
boring, that dude.
he
I can't
really
do it.
is the same thing every day. It is
Every
very-
day.
and
But,
I
yeah.
usually do. I'll wake up first thing in the morning and I'll usually just listen to him trying to hit the goal at the end of the show. I've been doing that for a long time, but even this year has been very tough to even watch that part of it because it's everything is the same every single day. It doesn't the stories change, the news changes, but nothing about
Barely.
Aaron is changing. It is
Really
terrible.
bailed on that in IRL streaming. Didn't he? Really bailed out on that one quick.
Oh yeah, he was.
He got,
going
he
to
got
some
that
riots
million
or some
views,
shit.
and he was like, "Yeah, that's a lot. I don't think I want to be getting up and go because they're still in his town actively doing protests outside of the
Protests.
fucking courthouse he went to." So it's like there's opportunity. He just doesn't do that anymore.
I mean, one of the things that makes a lol cow is exactly what both John and Aaron do, which is if there's a decision to be made, they're going to make the wrong one.
Yeah, that's a fact. No, I in the same way that Stuttering John kind of shut down his own business model in the Dabbleverse, Aaron did very much the same thing by not embracing putting out an HRO on Patrick and Nick Rekieta was very dumb in that way that they can't cover him, which kind of shuts down their business a little bit, but in turn it does the same thing to Aaron. Very much like Stuttering John not wanting to be part of the Dabbleverse and not liking being made fun of it all, which he would have made a lot of money off of the Dabbleverse comparatively, if you ask me. Having a little bit different relationship with it. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, everybody has their own personal tolerance for how much shit they can take, and I do believe that if you can't take the heat, you should get the fuck out of the kitchen. So it seems like that's what John did.
Right. What do you think about raising money to fight for free speech like Shuli is doing while at the same time suing for defamation? Do you think that those two things can be true at the same time, or what's your thoughts on that?
You're actually the first person to ask me about like the GoFundMe stuff. There's obviously been a lot of debate about that. I am in full support in the same way that I am in support of free speech. I am in full support of anybody being able to start a GoFundMe whenever they want to. And anybody who wants to donate to that GoFundMe can donate to it whenever they want to. And if you don't want to, then you don't have to. That's just kind of my general position. I wouldn't, again, I personally wouldn't start a GoFundMe in that situation, but that's just not who I personally am. That doesn't mean that I don't support everybody else's ability to do so. You could start it to, you want to feed my stupid cat? Like I could start a GoFundMe for that. And if you guys want to donate to make my cat fatter, then you can. And if you don't want to, then don't.
Oh, look at Lucy Tightbox. She's grifting off her cat again. Look at this lady. Yeah. We knew you would like that. Just like the Shuli, the shit way. Okay, so next one up. So speaking of not talking about Stuttering John, it did seem like there was a moment there when Shuli was going to try to not be speaking about Shuli. That time has, like I said, he did double point today, and that's the only thing they talked about was Stuttering John.
Well, okay, I'm going to defend. I haven't watched today's PDP yet because I was busy this afternoon, but let me defend that two more times, or in two different ways. One, again, it is a Stuttering John roundtable discussion, so you have to talk about Stuttering John. But two, I recently went on Jim and Them, and they talk all about Corey Feldman and how Corey Feldman is fucking bonkers nowadays. And I showed them an old episode of Greg the Bunny that Corey Feldman was on. And on this episode, Corey Feldman is playing himself. Oh, it's Greg. There's Greg the Bunny. And Corey Feldman is making fun of himself on this episode, and he's incredibly self-aware, which is exactly the opposite of what Corey Feldman is now. So there is a reason to actually go back and look at the older stuff because it helps you understand where somebody came from. So like the guys from Jim and Them thought it was kind of boring because they're like, oh, Corey Feldman is actually kind of funny here. He's not an insane person. But you got to see how somebody goes insane. You got to watch the decline. So I kind of like it when everybody does the older John stuff.
Okay. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Like people that are new to that content, don't necessarily know every single thing about it. So I guess catching people up is part of it at the same time trying to keep up with the most current stuff. That does make sense. And whatever. I'm not even making an opinion on like whether it's right or it's wrong. Anybody can do whatever they want to for a show. I'm just saying, like, for myself to only be built on one thing, it seems kind of weird.
It's a bad business model. I agree with that.
think, but it seems not to be. Like some of the most profitable shows seem to be built on something as simple as one thing only. It's kind of weird, but so be it. People like simplicity sometimes, I guess.
Shuli tried to do a lot of other things. Nothing stuck. People wanted him to just cover John. Like that's really it. Just distilled down into that.
Yeah. Fair.
Well, he kind of tried to steer that ship a little late in the game, though. I think. Unfortunately, once you built your audience to be primed for one thing, when you start to veer away from that, they get upset. Like we see that now with Melton. People get mad at Melton, who was covering other stuff before he got to Steel Toe, when he was doing stuff other than Steel. Why are we talking about this lady or whatever the fuck? And it's like,
oh yeah, why are we doing? Why are we doing Fat Friday or whatever
yeah. It's like you have to have other stuff because you paint yourself in a corner. But
body cam video
different.
Come on, Melton. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And nothing John related. So just so you know, we are all moving on around here, except one of us can't seem to move on.
Nope.
So I'm very, very excited to see what he has to say.
I'll be watching. I'm going over to Tukey because that's the show that.
So yeah, this was the other day when, of course, we all got to see that he set up to do a show on the 23rd, and of course, it never ended up happening. Do you have any thoughts on what that whole situation was?
I really don't. That's such a lame take to not have a take at all. John, the way that John's brain works does not make any sense to me. So.
Well, the one thing is we found out the next day, obviously, that he responded to the complaint.
Yes.
It had to be that, or he wanted to talk shit back to people that were saying things about him. Obviously, it was one of the two options, but I have a feeling he did want to talk about the lawsuit stuff, and probably maybe the better thinking came across, and he decided not to do that. So. PCBPO, $5.
Enough of the softball questions, Quat. Lucy Labia Lips is part of the tribe, so she has to ball wash Shuli.
Is that the only reason you have
Ball
to
washer?
That's not the reason that I have to ball wash people. Also, I'm part of the tribe, which means I have the Jew gold. Come on.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Reverend Rage, should people be allowed to say Sandusky Network?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think people should say what they want to say. I believe in free speech.
Right. Yeah, I mean, isn't that the argument that we're not even an argument? I think pretty much everybody agrees on the ability to have the free speech part. Just how much of it do we allow is the real question, right? Thank you, Rev Rage. Rev Rage coming to get in. $5. How is Shuli handling his new lolcow status now that over half a dozen podcasts are milking him for jokes? Tukey, MLC, Aussie Guy, BYB, Hacky Soup. Yeah, are you even aware of this? Have you been?
I'm not. Tell me about this. That's amazing. I love it. That's hilarious.
No, whatever. He's trying to do other things. A lot of people had wondered, like, if Stuttering John was gone, who might actually be a good replacement for him as far as like top lolcow in the Dabbleverse.
I thought that it was going to be Carl. When those conversations were happening, I just kept seeing Carl.
Right, but that's not who's being covered. Carl, come to find out, actually produces a show and does a fairly well-produced show. Like, who knew, right? Without John, Shuli might be in a different situation entirely. Whatever, he's had plenty of enemies and people that don't like his content. And I mean, even some would say that his fans are lolcowish, let alone, Shuli. I mean, you've known Carl a lot longer than Shuli.
Yes.
Yeah, so I mean, if you had to decide right now Who's
gonna be
your
the
number
lockout?
one I'm putting you on the spot. Carl or
One's got to
Shuli?
go in the chamber. One gets to stay out.
I
Yeah.
want it to be Carl only because I want to make fun of Carl more. That's hilarious. Listen, I think that both of these boys, one of the things that I think really characterizes a lol cow is one, no self-awareness, and two, not being able to handle the heat. And I think that both of these boys can handle the heat, and I think that they both have self-awareness. So I don't know that either of them ever truly could become a lol cow, but I do really, really, really love that everybody says that Carl eats poop. So I'm going with Carl.
Fair. Okay, so next thing we got up, as far as looks like Stuttering John got his lawyer, Kim Martin. Oh yeah, I do have a picture
Handsome
of her,
woman.
too. Yeah. Do you have any thoughts on his new lawyer, Kim Martin? She seems like a lovely lady.
I actually know nothing about this. I've had a very crazy couple of weeks at work, so I'm very behind.
Fair.
It looks
fair.
judicial.
Yeah, you'll have to go look at it. She graduated Coming Louder in Alabama.
Nice.
Is that before or after the transition?
I'm sorry. I suck. Come Louder. She got back in the 90s. So actually she's an older lady. You wouldn't think so. She looks young. Very youthful appearance. Beautiful. We need more beautiful ladies. Okay,
like a
so
PE coach, if I'm being honest. You know what I mean?
I have a feeling you do know a little bit about let's say Shuli's lawyer. What are your thoughts on that guy?
Well, okay, so I've been getting a lot of shit about this, obviously, because the quote that I keep getting that I have said, which I stand by, is that it is a very well-written lawsuit. And I still think that it is a very well-written lawsuit. It's full of fucking graphical errors. Yeah, I'm not. When I said that, what I meant was the content, the context, the citations of law, the arguments that are being made. All of those things are great. And so, yes, I made several comments when I was doing that stream. I was like, oh, there's a lot of typographical errors. Oh, we got this problem. We got this problem. Nobody wants to focus on any of that because it's not as funny. And I get that. I really, truly believe that the arguments that are being made in Shuli's lawsuit are logical, sound, legitimate arguments. I really, truly believe that they are questioning the DMCA system, which obviously I have done a lot of. And I really, truly believe that that is an important argument to make. And so, yeah, I think it's a great fucking lawsuit. I think that maybe we could have not had some typographical errors, and I think maybe we could have spelled our own name correctly, as I have said many times about Tabber Benedict.
Right. Even in the amended complaint to get your name wrong again, does that blow your mind that happened? Or that they in the amended complaint they had 4 words and 1 out of 4 of them was misspelled?
Isn't that like kind of like a glaring issue with like who gets to become lawyers nowadays? Like, are they all fucking retarded? Like, it's your own name. You know how to spell it? Like, come on.
Yeah, that's kind of
your name.
Well, okay. I don't know if you want to dox yourself there, Lucy, but yeah, like I'm sure a legal secretary or a paralegal probably did fill that paperwork out, correct? And of course, the lawyer would have to proofread it.
So
he was like, Nancy's got this.
I don't want to speak and say things because this is 100% my theory. I don't have any behind the scenes knowledge on this. Working in law firms, what usually happens is exactly what Quad just said. A paralegal will draft a document and then an attorney will review it and they have to approve it and they have to sign off on it. After they do that, usually the document goes back to the paralegal, and that paralegal is typically the person who is then going and filing it on the websites. Now, I know about this in New York State Supreme Courts. Obviously, this was a federal case. Shuli's lawsuit is a federal case in Alabama. I do not know about the filing system there, but I would guess that a paralegal was filing that. And what I will always say is that a lot of the time in every single law firm, paralegals will file the wrong document. So if we had 2 drafts, if we had a draft that was full of typos and then a draft that wasn't full of typos and it was version 1 and version 2, my theory from the get-go was always kind of maybe they did it before the proofreading, and that was why they filed the wrong document. And when you do that, then you file an amended. Maybe that's a lame excuse. I don't know.
Okay, so now that we have an amended complaint and it has mistakes, would you like? And what that means is that he can that lawyer can no longer offer an amended complaint without the judge
Making a
having any
motion.
say in it, right? Like he won't be able to change that.
Yeah.
Now he will. So would you make it another amended complaint to fix the second mess up? Like what's your
So,
thoughts on that?
In
The
general, motion practice is bad. So in general, you don't want to add motions into a lawsuit because anytime that there's a motion, it is always going to cost both parties more money. So if you can avoid having to do a motion, then you should. One of the things that could happen if Shuli does file a motion to amend this amended complaint is that John has the ability to respond to that. And that means that, again, now they can get into an argument. And every single one of those arguments, again, is costing money and time. And it's kind of a pedantic argument to make. So personally, if I was getting sued or if I was suing somebody and I had the ability to avoid additional motion practice, I would.
Fair enough. Yeah, should Shuli be mocked? Because you remember how much ridicule Stuttering John got, like you were just speaking about a minute ago with his lawyer and the misspellings. This is on a scale like 100 times worse than the Stuttering John's lawyer's mistakes. Like, what are your thoughts on that? Should we be mocking poor Shuli for all the mistakes his lawyer made?
Yeah, I think it's perfectly acceptable to do that. I mean, and honestly, like, let's be honest. It even more so if you already were involved in a lawsuit where there were spelling mistakes, you should really be spell checking. Again, maybe it was just the wrong version of the document getting filed, but yeah, he should be mocked. And again, that's the whole point of our fucking universe is that we're mocking everybody, right? We should be having fun. And like, fuck, Jesus, it's fun. We're supposed to be having fun.
Would you fire a lawyer that made that many mistakes? What would you proceed with a lawyer that seems to overlook some major details?
So if my lawyer had a good explanation, and again, I truly do believe it's possible that there is a good explanation. If my lawyer had a good explanation, then I would stick with them. If I believed in their actual arguments, because again, even though the court might go, wow, that's a lot of typos, we really should not respect this, you can't disregard the legal arguments that are being made. The judge is not a spelling bee referee. He is supposed to be looking at the law. And so if I had a lawyer that I trusted to make good legal arguments, I would stick with them.
Right. But as we know, judges, who knows what's in their mind, and they might be grammar Nazis and hate that kind of shit. You never know.
Absolutely. Right? I've seen judges throw cases out for nothing. Like, absolutely. You wrote 2025 instead of 2026 on this document. Fuck that. Yeah. I don't want it anymore. Like, yeah, judges have a lot of power.
Do you think that there's any settlements in the works with the DMCA part of it with Carl or Shuli? Do you have any knowledge of such a thing happening?
Well, I definitely think with Stuttering John's lawsuit against the two of them, there is not going to be a settlement. I think, again, we're going to get that ruling. It's expected to be here by July 14th, so just about 2 weeks, which is very exciting. That could be the end of that lawsuit, which would be really neat. Or it could go on for months and months and months, and there could be lots of motion practice, and it could cost everybody a whole bunch of money. As for Shuli and TSN's lawsuit against John, I really can't imagine John negotiating on that because I think that he believes what he was doing was right, which is crazy because I have seen a lot of videos of him understanding and explaining the correct usage of strikes on YouTube.
Right.
So I don't know if he's so wet-brained that he's forgotten it at this point, or I don't know what's going on inside of his head, but I can't imagine him negotiating because I think he's just kind of digging his heels into the sand and going to trip on another rake.
Fair enough.
What are the odds anybody gets any money out of any of these lawsuits?
Zero.
Physically in their hand. You know what I mean?
Zero.
Like
Zero.
that's the hilarious part.
There is no chance that anybody. You do.
100% the lawyers will, but beyond that, like
Money will exchange hands. Is that what you're thinking, Lucy?
I no, I do not think that in either of these lawsuits anybody will get any money. But again, and that's why I like Shuli's lawsuit, because again, I think it's a matter of principle as opposed to a matter of money. I think it's kind of the same concept of like Kumia saying that when John's lawsuit against Carl and Shuli is over, that he's going to sue John. Kumia has already said, I don't think I'm going to get any fucking money from John. I'm doing this as a matter of principle. This is something that I believe in. And again,
do you think he has a good case?
Kumia? I haven't seen any of the evidence of that case, but I really want to. I'll be honest. Okay, so this is the other thing about Shuli's lawsuit. This is a concept that I believe strongly in. I don't think that it's super funny besides the typographical errors. So like I don't have a lot of interest in covering it. I don't have a lot of interest in like really following it closely. But let me tell you, when Kumia files that fucking suit, I'm going to read every goddamn word. That is an interesting lawsuit to me. Again, Shuli's lawsuit, I almost care too much about it in my heart because I think that he's making the right arguments.
Kumia can afford decent attorneys too. Yeah. And he will just be fucking petty. And I love that.
Right. And I want to see the disclosure stuff on that part too. Is that kind of what you were speaking of? Yeah.